more details soon.
I'm just thinking of one fact that listeners to this program would have heard this very morning, because we played a clip of Don Lemon's coverage on the air in a separate story this very morning. Lemon went to this protest. He covered the protesters. He broadcast the voices of the protesters. He seems also to have spoken to, heard from, and broadcast the voice of the pastor that they were protesting against. He was covering both sides. He was covering all sides of this thing. Is there evidence that this is...
Let's acknowledge the truth at the same time. First, journalists don't have special breaking the law. If Lemon clearly broke the law here, the federal law at that, then that evidence presented. However, what you're saying is exactly right. And it does appear as though he was there to cover it, even if he has a point of view of these sort of things. And he has been relentlessly critical of Trump, both at CNN and even more so perhaps since. But this does seem to be a focus of the Justice Department to pay attention to journalists who are amplifying perhaps voices that are critical of them. For example, if you think just a few days ago, I was on this program talking about the seizure of documents from Washington Post reporter Anna Nathanson's home and devices there. A very unusual thing to do without a subpoena and without warning, doing it at the workplace. So you're seeing the Justice Department really use extremely aggressive means to go after reporters that they say are breaking the law, and others say it look like they're doing their jobs.
And here's David Folkenflik. Thanks so much.
You bet.
This is NPR.
On News 88.7, good morning. Just about 8:50, 2.5 hours plus. Now I-10 eastbound, 4-6. It's right with two 18-wheelers. They're cleaning up fuel spill right now. Just a couple of right lanes been getting by for most of that time, and it looks like we're making pretty good progress. 53 for the high this afternoon, and then hovering right around freezing, maybe a little bit above or below, depending on where you are. Tomorrow's high in the low to mid 40s, that's it, and then we're going to be in the upper 20s. So we got the freeze watch and cold weather advisory as well, and so at least it's going to be dry, no ice. We're 41 right now, 10 minutes away from Houston Matters. Great moments here. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jared.
I'm already thinking about dinner.
I'm thinking about maybe some sleep.
I may do that and then go to dinner.
Coming up on Houston Matters this morning, as you've been hearing, the Senate reached a deal last night to avoid a shutdown and spend the next couple of weeks rethinking Homeland Security funding in the wake of developments in Minneapolis. On today's show, we will talk about whether the House is going to follow suit. It seems so far like that's the case, but we're going to ask Houston area Congresswoman Elizabeth Fletcher about it. And we'll welcome your questions for her as well. You can send those now if you want to talk@houstonmatters.org. You can call or text us at 713-440-8870. And of course, we're live on video on Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. So once that feed starts up, you can post.
Today's past 18, he was waiting on a bus and his army green sat down in a booth. The cafe there gave his order to he's a little shy, so she gave him a smile. He said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling pretty low.
morning. How are you doing? How are you doing today? Hi, good morning.
Frito and Katie on 100.3 The Bull. It's Friday. We got Hudson Westbrook hanging out with us on the show. Can't beat that.
Okay, your new EP exclusive also just dropped. That's 5 brand new tracks. What did you want that project to say about who you are and maybe where you are in your career right now?
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with the I mean, those guitar tones are from Justin Bieber's new album, and like, those drums are from Texas Forever album. And so I took like tones, and it's not Justin Bieber music, but like, it's the, I wanted that to be more of like about the songwriting,
Right.
and like have more furniture and have more like feeling to it in the relationship.
Right.
Like it's the most like probably vulnerable I'll get to like the loving and the relationship stuff, and now I feel like I just like went and cut songs on Monday, and they're all at my old studio, which like I did switch studios for the EP, like in particular, and now I'm going back to the studio where I cut house again and stuff, and I don't know, I just feel like if you always put the same thing out, you're not moving anywhere, you know, and I don't think I'll ever ditch my sound, but I'm definitely excited to go back to like it's the same studio that House recorded at, 5 to 9 and Silver and all my older stuff.
Yeah.
So I just want my albums to sound like that, my EPs to be kind of like little side projects.
Yeah, it's fun to dabble.
That's so
Yeah, the
cool.
EPs are for the super fans, I'd say.
Okay, and all 5 songs are co-written by you,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And how important is that, like for your music to feel, like we talked about earlier, you know, that authenticity?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I mean, I realized like right off the bat, like I wrote everyone writes a few songs, you're like, I'll that one, like find it up, put that out. But like anytime, I haven't ever thought that because I'm always
So on any book of tracks that seriously takes that whole went home.
been standing in front of everybody dressed like myself,
Yeah.
and sing about myself, then I need to write it, you know.
Also,
So there might be one day, hopefully there's one day that I can hang out, you know, the people that I'm, like the goal is to get
Parker had a similar thing,
Yeah.
and it was so cool getting to see him experience that.
That
It's
is
going to be
true.
amazing to see you experience that. Again, House again, killing it, and the new EP exclusive, Hudson Westbrook. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time today. Talking barbecue cook-off.
More at uth.edu/manyfaces.
you can keep your house and rent it out. That's pay. Right now.
It's Frito and Katie on 100.3 The Bull.
Days like these are worth more than gold, but they can't be bought and they can't be sold. On days like these, when the sun shines bright, I feel like it's all gonna be alright. When the sky is blue and the grass is green, how much better can it be? If I got you and you got me, we got everything we need. Even if it grew on trees, money came my days like these. They don't come around as much as they ought to. So soak 'em up when they do. Those days like these, they don't get forgotten if you think it through. They're all we got. When the sky is blue and the grass is green, how much better can it be? If I got you, you got me, we got everything we need. Even if it grew on trees, money came my days like these. When the sky is blue and the grass is green, how much better can it be? If I got you, you got me, we got everything we need. Yeah, even if it grew on trees, well, I'd probably miss the leaves. No money came by days like these. Money came by days like these.
Frito and Katie, happy Friday. Who's this?
This is Tiffany.
Tiffany, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
You're good, we're good. You're caller 10, so you're better now. Right? Right. Going to the Bull Hockey
Yes.
Talk.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, you better be excited to be fire. What nights will she be attending?
Great question. These are wristbands for Thursday, February 26th. So
Parmalee, it is. We're going to open this thing up, and then we're going to burn it down. That's the
All right,
plan.
I'll be ready.
All right, hey,
of his personal grievances. And of course, we saw last night, I was shocked to see that the President of the United States is suing the IRS for $10 billion with a B. This is totally out of control, totally unprecedented and unacceptable. And so I agree with you that this Congress isn't legislating. And I'm just going to give one example. This year, the legislation that Speaker Johnson brought to the floor that isn't appropriations was a bill about the volume of water going through your shower heads. So I agree 100% with the critics who are saying Congress isn't legislating and isn't focused on the right things. I agree with that. And this administration is also ignoring longstanding laws, independence of federal agencies, whether it's going after the Consumer Protection Bureau, whether it's going after different independent agencies. And what we see is that citizens are speaking out and the courts are largely standing up. It's one of our lines of defense, but the Congress is designed to be a line of defense, and the Congress is failing. I completely agree with those critics, but it's not just that we're not legislating. It's that they are ignoring laws already on the books and ignoring the Constitution.
So another example of some of what you're talking about. Don in New Waverly commented to us, noting that the president, as we heard from NPR in the last hour, just had Don Lemon arrested. Don from New Waverly says journalists are in as much danger as protesters.
Absolutely. And it's terrifying. And I asked this morning, as soon as I saw that news, what is the purported reason? I mean, I don't believe it, but what are they even saying? And as far as I understand, there's some commentary about covering the protests at a church in Minneapolis last week. As I understand, they've also arrested another journalist, I believe from Atlanta, who was also covering that protest. And this is the First Amendment to the Constitution, but these amendments, they are central to our rights as citizens, and they were ratified with the Constitution, as we have discussed before, kind of the debate and ratification of the Constitution. The right to petition your government about grievances, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to protest, the right to speak freely, the right to exercise your religion or no religion at all, and the right to have a free press is central to democracy itself. And all of those rights are under attack from this administration.
We are talking with Houston area Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, and we'd like to hear from you. Send us your questions or comments. Call or text 713-440-8870. You can email us at talk@houstonmatters.org. You can post thoughts on our live video feed on Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. More ahead as Houston Matters continues.
Working parents, a snow day can snowball into an avalanche of problems.
It's been a really it's been a bad week, I would say. It's been a comically bad week.
I'm Kimberly Adams, the true cost of a snow day. Next time on Marketplace.
You can hear that tonight at 6:30 on News 88.7.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Baylor College of Medicine. With 125 years of innovation behind it, Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the frontiers of modern science.
Houston Matters with Craig Cohen is made possible in part by Helen Binninghoven and Dr. Michael Schaefer, with gifts from listeners like you.
Unknown caller.
Hello.
What should we do?
Well, that list is very long, but I'll start by saying, Craig, there has been just a dramatic change in immigration enforcement over the last year, and certainly we need to have a system to perform that function, which prior to the creation of ICE with the Department of Homeland Security was done by INS. There's always been a function of enforcing our immigration laws. That said, this system and this agency is broken. And so there needs to be radical rethinking. But certainly at a minimum, at this moment, and the demands that Democrats are making around the Homeland Security bill is the masks have got to come off. Because what we see in these shootings, think about the shooting of Renee Good just a couple of weeks ago. You had officers shoot a United States citizen in her car, and the immediate response from their superiors, from the administration was, it was totally justified. We would never see that in the city of Houston. We would never see the Houston police chief get out with no facts, no information, the mayor, and not, they will say, this person has been put on leave while we investigate, we're investigating this shooting. You know, it's a tragedy that there has been an interaction, there's been a situation that resulted in the death of one of our fellow citizens. Instead, immediately, with Renee Good and with Alex Preddy, this administration didn't wait for the facts. They judged the people that they killed, our fellow citizens, and they tried to demonize them, say they were terrorists, that they were attacking law enforcement, you know, making all these pronouncements without any facts. And that message that they said, Stephen Miller got on TV and said, these agents have absolute immunity. They do not. Let's make that clear. Under the Constitution and under the laws of this country, they do not have absolute immunity. Law enforcement officers have qualified immunity, which has been a subject of policy debate for a while, but they do not have absolute immunity. But that's how they're acting, and the masks contribute to that, the sense of unaccountability. And we ask Houston police officers, we ask the sheriffs in our counties, we ask all law enforcement to wear their name on a badge, to show who they are. They patrol the streets in marked cars. First of all, ICE shouldn't be out doing roving patrols. That's not their job. That's not their responsibility. And so there's a list of things that we want. I personally submitted an amendment to the bill in the House that did not get considered, requiring the removal of masks, requiring these agents cannot be patrolling the streets in unmarked cars and plain clothes and going after people who are in the Home Depot parking lot. That is not law and order in any sense of the word. And so getting the masks off is critical. Of course, we're also demanding the use of body cameras for these agents. And this is just sort of in this moment, a uniform code of conduct and absolute accountability for these actions. Also, the abuse of the warrants. You know, what we've seen, and many of us have seen video of officers, ICE officers, going to people's doors and telling them, A, ramming down their doors, or B, saying they have a warrant that they don't have to show it to people. And every person in this country, like a warrant under the 4th Amendment to the Constitution, you must have a warrant and it must be specific to enter someone's home.
And I think we should also characterize, clarify that when they say they have a warrant, they aren't necessarily talking about a warrant from a judge.
They are not. They're using these administrative warrants within their own agency, and they've been doing that for a while. But that is being completely abused. I saw a video today where they wound up knocking on the door of an U.S. attorney who they are violating the 4th Amendment to the Constitution. It's not just the First Amendment that's under attack. And of course, we're hearing, hopefully from more and more people, one of the justifications they used last weekend in the murder of Alex Preddy was that he was carrying a gun. There are a lot of people that we've all been hearing about for a long time defending the 2nd Amendment constitutional right to carry. And that's a source of public policy debate as well about, are there any limits? What can we do to keep our communities safe from gun violence? But for this administration to come out and say, because a licensed concealed firearm permit holder who had a gun holstered and was not brandishing it, using it, holding it in any way, that was a reason to kill him. And you had this assistant U.S. attorney go on TV and say, well, if you're going to bring a gun to a protest, you should expect to be shot, basically. That is not the law in the United States. And we have been fighting about that. There should be no one who's confused about the debate around that. And so you finally saw this weekend the NRA putting out some response. The libertarians put out a pretty compelling statement about what was happening and what is happening. But our rights as Americans are being trampled, and they will continue to be trampled until we are protesting with every tool we have. And that means using our voices. For me, it's also using my vote in Congress. And I've started voting against the things, to your point earlier, about Congress isn't doing stuff that matters. I agree. And I'm using my vote there to vote no on not addressing the things that matter to Americans in this moment. But we are not seeing this administration back down in light of these protests. We are seeing the administration turn up the volume. And a few minor moves this week, to send Tom Homan, to remove Gregory Bovino, that is insufficient. And frankly, at this point, it looks like it's window dressing.
We have an email from Tom who asks, in light of the FBI raid on voter records in Georgia, this occurred on Wednesday, what can or will Congress do to assure fair elections this fall? And that should know what happened. The FBI raided Fulton County's election operations center, apparently in connection to the president, the Trump administration's long-held disproven belief that there was anything untoward in counting of ballots in Fulton County during the 2020 election, which now, of course, we're talking about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, so it's a great question, and it's a hugely important issue that shouldn't be lost in this conversation, because in addition to the raid, the FBI raid in Fulton County, where, of course, as you mentioned, that's where the president called and said, hey, I just need you to find me, whatever the number was, 11,000 votes so I can win this election, right? Like, this is the place where he was indicted for that. And you now see federal agents going in and seizing the ballots, as far as I understand, the voting infrastructure, the records. We also know, if people didn't see it last weekend, after the shooting of Alex Preddy on Saturday, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, sent a letter to the governor saying, if you want ICE out of Minnesota, just give us your voter rolls. So we should all connect the dots between what is happening. Now, the question is, what's Congress going to do about it? And I'm sorry to say, I wish Congress would do more. I have been supporting legislation ever since I was elected to secure our elections and to help make sure that people have access to the ballot box to exercise their right to vote. But one of my deep concerns is that this do-nothing Congress rubber stamps what the president does. And to be clear, I am a member of this Congress, and I am complaining because the Congress, when you are a House minority member, which I am in the Democratic Party, we are in the minority in the House. We are not powerless, but we don't set the agenda. And the Republicans are in charge of the House and the Senate, and they have shown no willingness or ability to check this president or to check this administration. And that's critical. There are things Congress could do to secure our elections. I don't know that there are things that this Congress will do, but I think every American needs to demand it of their representatives, Republican and Democrat alike. We all need to be able to trust that when we go to the ballot box to cast our vote, that we're able to do so freely, that our vote will be counted. There's a lot of concern, for example, that this administration is going to post ICE agents at the polling places and do other things to intimidate voters. But here, what you're looking at in taking the ballots and in getting the voter rolls, which they have already gotten from the state of Texas. Governor Abbott gave them to the DOJ willingly and without objection. They have this information, and what they could do with it, I don't know the extent of it, but it's not good. And it's not how it's supposed to be. Whether this Congress is going to check that, I will certainly fight and do everything I can, as I believe will my colleagues in the House Democratic Caucus. But every person needs to use the tools of democracy, and voting is one of them, but it's only one of them. We have to use our voices. So whether that's calling into Houston Matters, letters to the editor, op-eds to the Chronicle and other newspapers, and talking to your neighbors, because there's so much coming at us every day. Not everybody's even seeing some of the things that you're seeing in the news. And so I know it's hard sometimes and people feel very polarized, but on something as fundamental as voting and letting your vote count, whoever you want to vote for, We should all protect that right.
All right. In light of that, let's take some calls. Robert's in Montgomery County. Robert, what's your question or comment for the Congresswoman?
Good morning, Congresswoman Fletcher. I just to kind of carry over what you were talking about, how the Democrats are the minority in Congress.
Teachers